Welcome dear student, this is the first lecture of unit number 2 of biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetic BP 604T. I am Dr. Anjana from NIET Institute, NIET Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Pharmacy Institute, Greater Noida, and I am here to teach you unit 2 of biopharmaceutics. And the topic for today's lecture is elimination, drug metabolism and metabolic pathways. Okay. In the unit first, I have already taught you about the drug absorption, what are the various mechanisms by which absorption takes place, what are the various factors that can affect the drug absorption, after that drug distribution, and what are the factors that affects the drug distribution, protein binding, kinetics of protein binding. Okay. These topics I have already been covered. Now, let us move to the unit number topic of unit number 2, that is the elimination. Okay. See, the onset of pharmacological response, response of any drug will depend upon the pharmacokinetic process, that is the drug absorption and the drug distribution. Okay. What is drug absorption? That I have already told you. What is drug distribution? I have already told you. Okay. So, and the duration or intensity of the action, as well as intensity of action will depend on the tissue redistribution, how the drug is getting distributed into the tissues from the blood, and the rate of drug removal from the body. Okay. In case of drug absorption, the drug is reaching into the systemic circulation. From that systemic circulation, it will move or it will distribute into the tissues as well as into the extravascular sites. Okay. So, these two processes, that is drug absorption and drug distribution, are required for the onset of pharmacological action or for the onset of therapeutic action. But when we want to calculate the intensity of the action or duration of the action, then we have to concentrate on the elimination part as well as the tissue redistribution part. Okay. So, now what is elimination? This elimination refers to the irreversible removal of drug from the body by all routes of elimination. Okay. And this drug elimination we can divide into two major components. First is the excretion and second one is the biotransformation. Okay. So, what is elimination? It is the irreversible removal of drug from the body. Okay. And the route of elimination can be many types. Okay. So, drug elimination we can divide into two major components. One is the excretion and second one is the biotransformation, and we can also say this biotransformation as metabolism or drug metabolism. Okay. Now, what is drug metabolism or biotransformation? Okay. This is the process by which a drug is chemically converted to certain metabolites. Okay. This is the process by which a drug is or this is a process of chemical conversion of one form to the another form. Okay. And these chemical changes or this biotransformation or this metabolism is carried out by certain enzymes, and these enzymes can be located either in liver, either in kidney, lungs or other parts of the body. Okay. So, biotransformation is an enzymatic process because lots of enzymes are involved in the process of biotransformation, by which a drug component can be converted into its metabolite, or we can say an inactive drug can be converted into its active form also. Okay. So, the enzymes that are involved in this biotransformation process are located mainly in the liver. And because the enzymes that are responsible for biotransformation are located mainly in the liver, that is why the liver is the primary site for the biotransformation or the drug metabolism. Okay. Now, what is the need of this biotransformation? What is the requirement of this biotransformation? See, all the chemical substances they are that are not the nutrients for the body, or we can say they can be taken by ingestion, inhalation, or they are absorbed, then we can say them as the xenobiotics. We can call them xenobiotics or exogenous compounds. We can say them exogenous compounds. Okay. So, these xenobiotics or exogenous compounds, or we can say drug component, okay, that we are ingesting, these can enter the body because of their lipophilicity. This I have already told you in the drug absorption portion. The drug which is having the sufficient lipophilicity, or which is having the lipid permeability, that can only cross the GI membrane and get into the systemic circulation. Okay. So, if a drug wants to get the passage into the systemic circulation, it should have sufficient lipophilicity, only then it can enter into, it can get absorbed into the body. Okay. And so, it is very interesting that for the effective absorption, a drug should be having the property of lipophilicity. Okay. But because of this physicochemical property, means because of this lipophilicity, a drug can undergo, or drug can bypass the excretion process. Okay. And excretion is what? It is the removal of drug from the body, and because of this because of the lipophilicity, drug can get easily absorbed into the systemic circulation, and because of this property also, it can bypass the excretion process. And if the drug is bypassing the excretion process, then how it can be removed from the body? And because of this bypassing the excretion process, its the duration of action, or the action can be prolonged into the body, and in sometimes it can also lead to the toxicity also. Okay. So, it is very necessary to convert this lipophilic substance into the water soluble substances, so that it can get easily removed from the body. Okay. So, this is the reason, this is the need of biotransformation. Okay. So, only because the only water soluble drugs or water soluble components can only excreted with the help of kidney. So, it is necessary to convert these lipid soluble substances into the water soluble substances. Okay. And this can be done by the biotransformation reactions. Okay. So, what is the need of biotransformation? Because the exogenous compounds or the xenobiotics, that are not nutrient for us, but we have ingested, or we have taken them by the inhalation route. They are having the property of lipophilicity, and because of this lipophilicity, they cannot get excreted out easily from the body. So, it is necessary, or it is essential to convert these lipid soluble substances into the water soluble substances, so that they can be excreted out with the help of kidney from the body, okay, to terminate their action, or or to get removed from them from the body. Okay. This is the need of biotransformation. Now, what are the various consequences of biotransformation? What are the impacts of biotransformation? See, this biotransformation reaction can normally resulted in pharmacological inactivation of the drug. Because of these biotransformation reaction, a drug can be converted from its active form to the inactive form. For example, the phenytoin that can be converted to the para-hydroxyl phenytoin. Phenytoin is the active form of the drug, and para-hydroxyphenytoin is the inactive form. Okay. Next consequence can be, occasionally the biotransformation can also yields the metabolite with equal activity. means when biotransformation reaction takes place, when the metabolism takes place, the drug is getting converted into its metabolite, but the metabolites also possess the same activity as that of the drug compound. Okay. For example, conversion of phenylbutazone to the oxyphenbutazone. Okay. For example, the conversion of phenylbutazone to the oxyphenbutazone. Okay. Next consequence can be, it rarely leads to the toxicological activation of the drug. For example, conversion of the paracetamol to the more reactive metabolites. Okay. So, these all are the consequences of the biotransformation or the drug metabolism. Sometime inactive drug can also depend upon the biotransformation reaction for their activation. For example, certain prodrugs. Okay. Prodrugs are what? These are the inactive form of the drug, that means these drugs are taken in inactive form, and after taken, they will be converted with the help of certain enzymes into their active form, and after conversion into their active form, they will show their therapeutic effect. Okay. So, these are the consequences of biotransformation. Okay. So, how the xenobiotics or how the drug components can be removed from the body? If the any component is hydrophilic, it can be easily get excreted out from the body. Okay. If a polar compound is there, then this polar compound will go phase 2 metabolism reaction, and it will get converted into the hydrophilic substance, and after that it will be get excreted out from the body. Okay. If we are having a lipophilic substance, means the substance having the higher lipid solubility, then it has to go firstly from the phase 1 metabolism, after that it will undergo phase 2 metabolism, and after that it will excreted out from the body by the kidney. And if we are having the highly lipophilic drug and that are metabolically stable also, then these type of drug can accumulate into the body tissues. Okay. And when they accumulate in the body tissue, from there they has to go undergo the phase 2 metabolism reaction, after that phase 1 metabolism reaction, and lastly they will get excreted out from the body. Okay. So, what I am telling you, we can have lipophilic substance as well as hydrophilic. These hydrophilic substance can get easily excreted out from the body, but these lipophilic substance cannot get excreted from the body because of their lipophilic nature. Because of this lipophilicity, they can get reabsorbed from the renal tubule into the body. Okay. And that is why the biological half life or their duration of action can be prolonged. So, if we want to excrete out, if we want the excretion of this type of lipophilic substances from the body, then firstly these has to be converted into the hydrophilic substances or water soluble substances, so that they can get excreted out from the body. And for this conversion, for the conversion of lipophilic substances into the water soluble substances or hydrophilic substances, it has to go biotransformation reactions. This is the need of biotransformation. Okay. Now, what are the different types of biotransformation reaction? As I have told you, phase 1 reaction, phase 2 reactions. So, we are having two different types of metabolism reaction. Okay. What are these? These are phase 1 reaction, phase 2 reaction, and if the drug is unable to get excreted out from by these two reactions, then there is a phase 3 reactions also, okay, in which there is the involvement of certain transporters. Okay. So, firstly we will continue with the phase 1 reaction. These phase 1 reaction, we can say these are also known as the functionalization reaction. Why these are called as the functionalization reaction? these reactions generally preceded the phase 2 reactions, and these includes the oxidation reaction, reduction reaction, hydrolysis, cyclization and decyclization. Okay. As the name indicate, oxidation reaction in which addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen takes place. In the reduction reaction, the addition of hydrogen and removal of oxygen takes place. In the hydrolysis, there is addition of water and the drug will get split out into two phases. Okay. In the cyclization, a straight chain compound is getting converted into a ring shaped structure, and in the decyclization, a cyclic structure or a cyclic compound can be converted into a straight chain compound. Okay. The next is the phase 2 reaction. Okay. The phase 2 reaction, we can also call them the conjugation reactions, and these reactions involving a covalent attachment. These reactions generally involve the covalent attachment of small polar endogenous molecules such as the glucuronic acid, sulfates, glycine, etc. And there are different types of phase 2 reaction. First is the glucuronide conjugation reaction, second is the acetylation, third one is the methylation, fourth one is the sulfate conjugation, fifth is the glycine conjugation and sixth one is the glutathione conjugation. Okay. Now, I have told you about the types of biotransformation reaction. Now, how this biotransformation reaction takes place? These reaction takes place with the involvement of certain enzymes. Okay. And these enzymes we can divide into two different categories. Okay. The enzymes that biotransform or that converts the xenobiotics or drug compounds or exogenous compounds from one form to the another. The enzymes that are responsible for these reactions are different, that are involved in the conversion of food material. Okay. So, these drug metabolizing enzymes are versatile in nature, these are non-specific, they can metabolize a large number of drugs, and we can categorize them into two categories. One is the microsomal enzyme and second one is the non-microsomal enzymes. Okay. So, firstly, what are microsomal enzymes? These microsomal enzymes catalyzes the majority of biotransformation reaction. Okay. And these are present in the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. And they can carry out a number of oxidative reaction, hydrolytic reactions or glucuronidation reactions also. Okay. So, these microsomal enzymes are responsible for the conversion of a lipid soluble substance into the water soluble substance. Okay. Now, next is the non-microsomal enzyme. What are non-microsomal enzymes? These non-microsomal enzymes include the enzymes that are present in the cytoplasm. They are attached to the mitochondrial surface, but there is no involvement of endoplasmic reticulum. The microsomal enzymes were obtained from the rough endoplasmic reticulum, but the non-microsomal enzymes are attached to the mitochondria. Okay. These are also non-specific in nature and they can also carry out certain reactions, for example, reductive reaction or hydrolytic reactions or certain conjugation reactions. Okay. So, these are the two types of enzymes that are involved or that are responsible for these biotransformation reactions. Okay. Now, next is the drug metabolizing organ. As I have told you, the liver is the primary site for the drug metabolism, but there are certain organs also that certain organs also that are also responsible for the biotransformation reaction. So, these are lungs, kidney, intestine, intestina, placenta, adrenal or skin. Okay. And if we arrange them in their decreasing order of drug metabolizing capacity, then the first place will be for the liver, after that lungs, after that kidney, after kidney it is intestine, after this placenta to this adrenal, and in the last it is the skin that is also responsible for the biotransformation reactions. Okay. Now, phase 1 reaction. The phase 1 reaction firstly includes the oxidative reaction. As I have told you, the oxidative reactions includes the addition of oxygen and the removal of hydrogen, and this is the main reaction that is responsible for the metabolism, and this oxidation reaction can produce certain unstable intermediates, for example the epoxides, superoxides and the quinones. Next type of phase 1 reaction is the reductive reaction. In the reductive reaction, addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen takes place, and these reductive reactions can be of different type. First is the reduction of carbonyl function, reduction of alcohol and carbon-carbon bond, reduction of amine compounds, or miscellaneous reductive reactions. Okay. I have told you previously that phase 1 reactions are also known as the functionalization reactions, okay, because the primary objective of phase 1 reaction is to increase the hydrophilicity. With the help of microsomal enzyme, we are increasing the hydrophilicity. How? By introducing certain functional groups or by unmasking the lipophilic content or the functional group that were responsible for the lipophilicity. Okay. With the help of phase 1 reaction, there can be reduction in the stability. With the help of phase 1 reaction, there can be the they can help in the conjugation reactions also. Okay. Because in the phase 1 reaction, we can increase the hydrophilicity and unmask the lipophilicity, that is why they are also known as the functionalization reaction. Okay. Next is the hydrolytic reaction. This is the third type of phase 1 reaction. In these hydrolytic reactions, drug can split out by combining with the water, or the hydrolysis of drug takes place. Okay. The hydrolytic reaction involves 3 different type of reactions. First is the hydrolysis of esters and ether group, hydrolysis of amide group and hydrolytic dehalogenation. Okay. Now, the fourth type of phase 1 reaction is the cyclization reaction. In the cyclization reaction, as the name indicates, there is the formation of ring structure from the straight chain compound, or we can say in this a straight chain compound is getting converted into a cyclic ring, for example the proguanil. Next is the decyclization reaction. In the decyclization reaction, there is the conversion of a cyclic compound into the straight chain compound, or we can say a ring structure can be opened, for example the phenytoin and barbiturates. Okay. This was all about the phase 1 reaction. Now, phase 2 reactions. Okay. So, these reactions or phase 2 reaction involves certain covalent attachment of the small polar endogenous molecules such as the glucuronic acid, sulfate moiety or amino acid moiety with either unchanged drug or with the phase 1 product. Okay. The product that we have that we obtained from the phase 1 reaction that can be there, or the unchanged drug can be there. Okay. So, there is the conjugation reaction takes place. There is conjugation between the unchanged drug or with the with certain moieties such as glucuronic acid or sulfate or alpha amino acid moiety or glutathione moiety, or there can be conjugation reaction between the product whatever we have obtained from the phase 1 reaction with the small polar endogenous molecules, for example the glucuronic, sulfate, amino acid, glutathione, etc. Okay. So, that is why these reactions are also called as the conjugation reactions. Okay. So, in these reaction are also known as the true detoxification reactions. Why? Because a metabolite that we have obtained from the phase 1 reaction cannot get excreted out, but after phase 2 reaction it can easily get eliminated out from the body. That is why we can say a drug can be easily removed after the phase 2 reaction. So, this phase 2 reaction can also be known as the true detoxification reactions. Okay. Now, if a drug molecule is unable to get eliminated after the phase 2 reactions, then there are involvement of certain transporters also that can undergo the phase 3 reactions. Okay. And the name of this transporter is the efflux pump transporter. Efflux pump transporter. Okay. This efflux pump transporter can undergo phase 3 reactions, and when phase 3 reaction takes place, when the phase 2 reactions product are unable to get eliminated or the failure to remove the product of phase 2 reaction, then there is the need of phase 3 reactions. Okay. And if there is failure to remove the product from the phase 2 reaction, then it can lead to the toxicity due to the conjugation reaction, or there can be inhibition of the phase 2 enzymes, or there can be the hydrolysis of that conjugate back to the original reactive species. Then there is the need of phase 3 reaction, and there is the involvement of efflux pump transporter that can eliminate the metabolite or that product from the body and will terminate the action of that particular drug compound. Okay. So, in this lecture I have told you about what is elimination, what is biotransformation, what are the different types of biotransformation reactions. Okay. Thank you.